have built such different businesses, but there's this common thread. You didn't set out just to sell product. You really set out to solve a problem. Tell me about that moment when you realized this problem, you couldn't ignore that anymore.
For me, it was a very distinct moment when I heard an NPR story about endocrine disrupting chemicals in personal care products. And I had just had thyroid cancer, AKA endocrine cancer. And I thought, wow, are those chemicals in my products at home? And I realized that indeed they were. And so I thought, well, that is definitely an opportunity to serve women better.
Wow.
And that's how I got started.
Yeah.
For me, it was a lifetime of struggling with health issues. By the time I was 18, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and written so many different scripts. And through my own long journey, found out that when I was nourishing myself and fueling myself with real whole foods and not sugar and packaged foods, that I just felt good. I wanted everybody to feel that good at some point. And that was my moment of, I'm going to set out to try to help people do that and feel that way.
Great. We all want to feel that way.
And it's possible.
Yeah, I love it. And you had a similar pivot. Like you were not in the food business. You had a very robust career before that. So tell us what was your aha moment when you decided to solve this problem?
My aha moment was really coming back to myself. I grew up in a family of extremely passionate but judgmental home cooks. So I ran away from cooking. Just totally ran away from cooking for a decade in my teens and early 20s. And then in my late 20s, I started going back into cooking. I started just being more mindful about what I was eating and putting in my body. I noticed that I had stomach aches sometimes based on what I was eating, what foods were going in. And so it made me think a lot about foundational ingredients, and that led me to olive oil. And I read a very fascinating news story about how the majority of the olive oil that Americans are eating, we may not think that it has the nutritional properties or has the integrity that we think it has. And so that led me down a journey to start Brightland over time.
Wow, that's fabulous. And it's amazing. I love it's olive oil and it's art all together.
Yes,
I love
absolutely.
it. I love it.
Yeah.
So Kirsty, what about you? What was that aha moment?
I think I've always loved fashion and always loved jewelry. My grandmother worked for a costume house in the Hudson's Bay Company in Toronto. And I just grew up loving accessories and decoration and always kind of thought that I needed to do something in business and really just kept coming back to it. And it was the move to Los Angeles at the same time that kind of allowed me the freedom and kind of the release of the beginning of a new chapter to really do that. But it's interesting you said we're not, it's a luxury product. We're not solving a problem per se. But I definitely saw an opportunity for a unique point of view in sentimentality and kind of the specific point of view that I have, which is a marriage of nostalgia and sentimentality and symbolism. So yeah.
That's great. Your pieces are amazing. Well, thank you.